Hi everyone, this is Javier Hangitude and today I'm gonna show you how to make a classic Bolognese lasagna with Ragù and Béchamel. For this, first we're gonna need to make the fresh egg pasta. We're gonna need 681 grams of flour, 6 eggs, a pinch of salt, 45 milliliters of water, and 45 milliliters of olive oil. We need to combine the flour with the salt in a large bowl, making a well in the center. Mix water and oil in the center of the well, and with a fork, gradually pull the dry ingredients into the egg mixture. Turn the dough onto a flour work surface and knead until smooth and elastic for about 4 to 5 minutes. Let the dough relax at a room temperature for at least 1 hour. So now for the Bolognese meat sauce, we're gonna need 90 grams of finely diced pancetta, 23 milliliters of olive oil, 21 grams of butter, 213 grams of onion, 86 grams of carrot, 65 grams of celery, 300 grams of ground beef, 300 grams of ground pork, 65 grams of tomato paste, 300 milliliters of white wine, salt, ground white pepper, grated nutmeg, 500 milliliters of chicken stock, and 250 milliliters of heavy cream. Okay, so now the first step is to combine the pancetta with the oil and the butter in a stock pot on a medium-low heat. Then you have to stir frequently until the pancetta is golden brown. You have to add the onions, carrots, and celery. Then you have to cook it and stir it for about 5 to 7 minutes. Once the onions are translucent, you can add the beef and pork. You have to stir it continuously until the meat is brown. Then you have to stir the tomato paste and cook until lightly caramelized for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then to reduce, you have to add the wine. You have to mix everything. Then you have to season with salt, pepper, and nutmeg. Once you have seasoned your sauce, you can add the stock and bring the sauce to a boil. After the meat sauce has reduced, you have to add the cream, but do not allow the sauce to boil. Okay, so now for the tomato sauce, we're gonna need 8 tomatoes, 30 milliliters of olive oil, 170 grams of onion, 9 grams of garlic, salt, ground white pepper, and chicken stock. Okay, so the first step is to put the tomatoes, the onion, and some chicken stock on the blender and blend it for a few seconds. Then on a pan, put the oil and the garlics and let the garlics get a little bit brown but not burn. Once the garlics are golden, you can add the tomato sauce. And then to this tomato sauce, I added 5 epazote leaves. Then you have to let it boil. Now that it has boiled, you can season with salt and the white pepper. Okay, so now we need to do the bechamel sauce. For this we're gonna need 7.5 milliliters of vegetable oil, 15 grams of onion, 114 grams of white roux, 1.2 liters of milk, salt, white pepper, and nutmeg. Okay, so the first need we need to do is to heat the oil on a saucepan and add the onions and let the onions get tender and translucent. Now that the onions are translucent, I'm gonna add the roux and I'm gonna cook it for about 2 minutes. Okay, now we need to warm the milk and add it to the pan gradually. We have to stir it and mix it as much as we can. Once you have added all the milk, you have to let it reduce. Once it reduces, you can season with salt, pepper, and nutmeg. Okay, Now it's time to make the lasagna. For this we're gonna need the pasta we made cut into rectangles. We're gonna need the Bolognese meat sauce, the bechamel sauce, some Parmesan cheese, butter, and the tomato sauce we made. Okay, so the first step is to bring a large pot of salt water to a boil, then add the pasta for 10 seconds, then you have to take it out and put it in cold water for 2 minutes. Okay, now we have to spread a small amount of meat sauce on the bottom of the butter pan. Then you have to overlap the rectangles of pasta and spread a small amount of bechamel on the pasta and sprinkle with some cheese. Then you have to repeat this process until there are 5 layers of pasta, alternating between coating of the layers with the meat sauce, the bechamel, and the tomato sauce. Okay, now it's time to put your lasagna at the oven for 10 minutes at 250 centigrade degrees. And now it's done. Here you have your delicious lasagna.